Yes, I did. You're listening to Family Business with Daphne. Okay, you know I had to do that at some point, right? Come on. This entire song, Liberian Girl, written obviously about me, right? Coming to change your world. Of course I had to go there. For those of you who are like, okay, so we tuned into this business show. Yes, this is a business show called Family Business with Daphne, where we are inspiring and encouraging one another to grow a healthy family business that will last for generations to come. So this is not your typical entrepreneur shows, which I love, by the way, where, the focus is on Mr. or Ms. or Mrs. Entrepreneur, and you're kind of dealing with the day-to-day and how do you grow this business for the next 5 years, perhaps, and then maybe 10 years. No. This is not that show. This show is about how do you set up a business that's built to last so long that this thing carries through to the third, fourth, fifth generation and beyond. And believe you me, families are doing that. I get to interview them. I get to interview those who are starting out and those who are on the other end, who are indeed the fourth or fifth generation in business. I write a weekly column for Entrepreneur Magazine. I also write in a Huffington Post. So you can definitely follow up on all of my interviews. I cannot wait to tell you about a fun one I did this week. It was so much fun. But you can kind of catch up with all of my writings and happenings there. And of course, each week right here on 103.9 FM KDKI, broadcasting out of Idaho. Hello, of course. And broadcasting all around the world, really. I have listeners that contact me from interesting countries. I'm having so much fun with that because I am an immigrant entrepreneur. I'm from Liberia. So it's always fun to get to know my peeps from all around the world. It's so much fun. You should also, if you'd like to learn more about me and the show and what I'm up to, go to my foundation's website. Yes, of course, your girl has a foundation because I am passionate about some issues that really need to be taken care of, and the more the merrier. So I've launched my own foundation this summer, the Daphne Mallory Foundation. And basically, my goal is to help solve issues around senior poverty because I believe you have to honor your elders. Come on now. It is not okay to have your elders impoverished because they're vulnerable, because they're ill, because their children have moved away and moved on and on and on. That, or homeless, or that's just not acceptable. So I'm just going to jump in with my 2 cents and see if I can be of help. And then I'm also launching a program at a local elementary school where we can help to provide college tuition assistance to economically disadvantaged students. So if you'd like to help me out, and if you're thinking, well, we don't live in Idaho, well, this is going to be for not just Idaho, but beyond. My work is national and international. So yes, you should be of help. Jump in. We've got great partnerships and corporate sponsorships available and on and on and on. So contact me. Join my mailing list. Go to daphnemallory.org. On today's show, I've talked a lot about opportunities in family business, right? I've talked about what industries you might want to jump into or consider or look at, how to seize those opportunities, how to make the phone calls, because that's how you're going to win. Love me some social media. I am on Facebook, Daphne Mallory ESQ. Love LinkedIn. Have made fabulous contacts on LinkedIn. If you're not active, it's one thing to just have a profile on LinkedIn, right? It's another thing to get active on LinkedIn. If you're not, I really strongly urge you to become more active on LinkedIn. It has been amazing for me. So I love those platforms, but I pick up the phone. I know how to call people. I know how to work those phone skills, and I highly encourage you to do that. So listen to prior shows about me nagging you and how to seize those opportunities. But today, we're going to focus on preparation. How do you prepare your family life, your family business, so that you can be in the best position possible to seize the opportunities that are coming your way? I think that is so important. And in the past, I have sort of talked about spirituality and preparing yourself innerly or inwardly. I guess that'd be the better way to say that, right? But today, I really want to get even more outwardly practical. Like, really, what should you be doing today after you're done listening to this episode to start preparing your home and your family so that when those opportunities come, you're not scrambling because there's not enough money in the bank account or you haven't set up this system so that you can't even handle the opportunity ahead of you. So that's what we're going to talk about. I get to learn many of these things because I'm an interviewer. I guess you can now call me a celebrity interviewer. I'm, interviewing celebrities now, in addition to what I believe the true, quote unquote, true celebrities are the family business owners, the unknowns, right, who are still doing their thing and making millions and hundreds of thousands and on and on. So as little old me interviewer, I get to learn all of these great tips that I get to share with you. But this week, for instance, I got to talk to the cake boss. Do y'all watch that show? You should go on YouTube and just kind of check out the trailer and then actually go watch the show on a place that you can watch it legitimately. But check out the trailer if you're not familiar with it. But the cake boss, Buddy, his family enterprise, and they've built this amazing family business around pastries and cakes and desserts and all the sweet things of life. And when I talked to this man, I just left so inspired by him because at the end of the day, he is about his work. He is a hard worker. He plays, but he's a hard worker. You know, he hasn't achieved, celebrity status to the point where he doesn't get his hands dirty or doesn't make sure that he's on top of the numbers for his business. He's still pushing, 12, 14-hour days. He's expanding into a television production even more, on and on and on. And I got to speak with him and his sister Grace. And I was just sitting there thinking, man, they have got some systems and some practices in order, put together to really hold all of this up. And they continue to expand. And underneath that, underneath the hard work, there has to be best practices. So I started thinking about all of the interviews that I've done this week and last week. And I said, I need to really talk about this on the show because you don't want to be that person in that position when that amazing opportunity comes by, that contract is landed and everything collapsed because you don't have any best practices / systems in place in order in your home and family. So that's what it's about. So, Buddy, thank you. If you're listening out there, you inspired me to do this particular show this week. So let's jump in. Let's talk about that. So the first thing I want to talk about, which is going to sound like, what is that? Have you all heard about the 100 Things Challenge? It's been a few years, but basically Joshua Becker came up with the 100 Things Challenge. He came up with, in an effort to try to not spend all of his time looking for things or cleaning out garages or whatever with his wife, they decided to pare down their items to 100 things. Now, before you just turn off, do not turn off. Listen to me. The 100 things, you can expand that to categories. So, all of your 25 underwear would be under one thing. And basically, if you did not need something, you would get rid of it. If it was not so essential that it could fit under this list of 100 things, you had to get rid of it. Donate it, sell it, whatever. The idea is that when you remove the distractions in your life, you create more space so that you can have more focus, so that you can become a better entrepreneur. Now, when you are in a family business, this is huge. It is so easy as a family because it's not just you and your messy desk and your messy stuff. You've got family members, even if they don't live with you. You've got all their stuff to try to store somewhere in your brain. Did you know that things take up space in your mind? There, it does. It's weird. You will know that I'm telling the truth when you start getting rid of things and you notice, my mind is clearer. I'm thinking better all of a sudden, because your mind has this tendency to just like latch onto that thing and it just stays there. So the idea with the 100 things challenge is you figure out my list of 100 must have things categories, and I get rid of everything else that does not apply. How does this prepare you for family business? What does that have to do with you seizing the opportunity? Well, first of all, you're not wasting money. I mean, how many times have you bought the same thing because you couldn't find it because things were so cluttered in the home, right? Or how many times have you thought to yourself, well, I don't know what I have, and maybe I just need to buy a bunch of things, and then down the road, they're like, I don't need it, or I can't find it, or I can't use it, or I'm so disorganized that things are now broken, unusable, et cetera, et cetera. When you are a family business owner, you have got to keep your money tight. You're now the boss. You've got to keep your money tight. You have to be accountable for your pennies, for everything, because that goes to your cash flow and that goes to your bottom line. And so the more that you can declutter your office, your home office, your wherever office environment, and your home environment on all levels for everyone, the better it will be for your business. It positions you in a better place to seize opportunity. It frees your mind and you can think. So if you are not familiar with that challenge, check it out. I believe there's a TED Talk on it as well on YouTube, and explore it and figure out, what will be my 100 things. Well, one, if you know Daphne, it's going to be books, number one. And then you're like, well, okay, Daphne, then how many books can you have as a part of this 100 things challenge? Well, I had to, and I'm doing better. I was really good at the beginning of this challenge and then kind of like got not so good, but I'm trying to get back to being good. But I tried to narrow myself down to 5 books per 5 categories, 5 leadership books, 5 financial management for business type books, 5 books on television because that's my business, 5 books on, on and on. So I did like 5 for 5. I admit that I'm now like at 12 for 5 or something like that, and I will work on that now that I will listen to the show. But that's how you would do that. And then you'd go to the next category. Maybe it's clothing items, and you decide, okay, business attire for those sales appointments or for those speaking engagements or for whatever. And, only keep the bare essentials there and everything else goes. I challenge you to try that 100 things challenge. It will do wonders, not just for your family life, but for your business. I tell you, the demands on your time as an entrepreneur is amazing. And you can help to dull and make life more bearable for yourself and your family if you have less clutter. It's just less like that you have to deal with, right? I couldn't think of a better word. I hope you fully embrace when I said of clutter, because I understand. As a mom, as a homeschool mom, I get that. And so you definitely want to try to overcome that. So the 100 Things Challenge. So here's another movement or philosophy or thinking to check out. Eckhart Tolle has written a book. It's been a while out, right? A long time. But The Power of Now. And basically, he talks in that book about being fully present in the moment, not living in your past and not living in your future. The focus that I'm going to take for this particular episode, for this particular show, is how that movement or philosophy is so important for preparing you as a family business owner. If you continue to have endless thoughts about your past mistakes, your past histories, past relationships, or, and here's where I get into trouble mostly, not my past, but the future, right? Constantly thinking about wow, when I get there, what life will be like. When I attain X, Y, Z, the changes I will be able to make. How much more I can help people if I'm, X, Y, Z person in the future. The power of now says, don't live in the past. Don't live in the future. Actually, live now. That the more you can remain present today in the now, and to remove yourself from just endless thinking and overanalyzing and thinking that you will have more power to accomplish things. And that's where your creativity really lies. So, me, it's really bad because I'm an attorney. That's a thinking job. I'm a homeschool mom. That's a thinking job. I create and write and interview and research, thinking. And then, because I am very passionate about causes and protecting certain groups, such as senior citizens or refugees or then I'm now constantly engaged in strategy and strategic planning, thinking. Very passionate about low income families and low income students and trying to figure out how to, whether it's use my foundation or to sit on boards. I sit on a couple of boards, thinking. I mean, it's just on and on. From the time I get up till the time I go to bed, there is an opportunity to just be engaged in endless thinking about the past and how people are mistreating me or mistreating the people groups that I'm very passionate about, or my own family, right? And thinking about the future and how things will change, and being so absorbed in all of this thinking that I'm literally giving my power away, right? So, to be an effective entrepreneur, family business owner, community developer, whatever your title is, you gain more power by actually just focusing on the now. Right now, I'm here speaking with you in this radio program. I'm very tempted to think about a meeting that I have today at 5, a very important meeting, even while sitting here doing this radio show. And I have to keep stopping myself and going, no. I'm here in the present. I'm now, and I'm here giving myself fully to this so that I could be of the utmost use to you, the listener. That is my service to you. Now, think about yourself in your family life, in your family business. Are you just constantly thinking about, wow, when I gain my first $1 million client or contract or deal, when I achieve fame, everything will change. When I leave my country and make it to the United States, finally, everything will turn around and I can escape my circumstances here. Or when I graduate from college, it is on. Then I will be No. The idea is to, in this moment, with what you have, be grateful for what you can be grateful for, and just be where you are in what you're doing. Don't do multitasking. Don't be drafting a contract while thinking of your next radio show idea or your next television show idea. I've definitely had to battle that, I admit. Or don't be sitting in front of a client trying to give financial advice while you're then thinking about how you were mistreated by your sibling yesterday. Or don't go and give a speech and start rehashing and rehearsing in your mind the breakup you had 2 weeks ago. Just think. Think of all the ways that you're not present. So that's something else. If you start practicing now how to be in the moment, really fully, even if you're sitting there and taking photographs, or if you're managing a staff for your newest store opening, whatever it is, if you will be fully present in that moment, and if you could start practicing that, you are preparing to seize opportunities. And I can tell you this firsthand. If you're not, you will miss the opportunities you're supposed to seize. You will miss it. because it's just going to go by you and you're not going to think, wow, that person that I'm speaking to, whatever, I don't really know them. I don't really understand what they're doing. So I'm just going to let my mind drift off. And that was your potential joint venture partnership. Or that person was connected to the next person where your deal was, but you missed it because you left your body and started thinking about other things instead of being present. This is practical, you all. This is a practical business principle that will make a difference in your bottom line. When you go to pick up the phone to make a sales call, don't start thinking about something else because you hate to pick up the phone and call someone, or you hate to make a sales call. Be present with that call. When you go to do someone's hair, don't start daydreaming about, you can't wait to own your own salon and you're just stuck here with a chair and you're not being present because that person might be your ticket to your next salon. Get it? Got it. So be present. So we've talked about the clutter and the 100 Things Challenge. We talked about the power of presence, and you can definitely check out Eckhart Tolle online. He's got his own website. He's got numerous books. He's on YouTube with lots of speeches. He's been interviewed many a times by Oprah, and they even did a 10-week part series, web series on this topic. So check it out. Now, the other, probably the most controversial thing, I don't know why, but it seems to be, it's strange to me that it is, but something that you all have been asking me about, so I am happy to talk about it, and that is good old homeschooling. Whoa, she is going there today, yes. Homeschooling as a way to prepare your family, your home life, for family business. In fact, I know I could not have done my family business without homeschooling. Like, I had to do that in order to do my family business. And my daughter, who went through 1 year of kindergarten, and that was it, I have homeschooled her since, and she is now in college. Woohoo! Go girl! Earning a perfect SAT score, by the way, in reading, and top scores in writing and math. Go girl! Love that girl. But homeschooling was so important to my family business because I needed that flexibility. First and foremost, the decision I made to homeschool wasn't about business. It was about, I thought that I could be the best teacher in her life, that I could tailor her education in such a way because I knew her best. I knew her strengths, I knew her weaknesses, and I wanted to kind of instill an entrepreneurial spirit in her from day one. Yes, in kindergarten. I mean, when are you going to start? I guess you could start in the womb, but that's okay. I chose kindergarten. And I wanted to develop her into a leader. I didn't know to call it emotional intelligence at the time, but I wanted her to have emotional intelligence. I wanted her to know how to interact with people that were not just all her age group, that she could, sit down with a senior adult and have a competent conversation, and that she could then go to her own peers and have a great conversation, and she could go to someone younger, and on and on and on. So homeschooling, when we come back from break, I'm going to talk more about that as an option for you. One thing you might want to consider now to prepare your family life for family business. Homeschool worked for me. So you're listening to Family Business with Daphne on 103.9 KDKI. When we come back, we'll talk more about other ways, in addition to homeschooling, to preparing your family life for family business.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
What? Why? Just wait for the inheritance. We've definitely got a rich uncle somewhere. We're one call away from the winner's circle at the Derby, dinners with multiple forks, a vacation home in the country, using summer as a verb.
You don't actually think that, do you?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
You know, Ben Franklin once said, "You have a republic if you can keep it." Yet how will we be able to keep our republic if our young people aren't educated on the basics of this country, on the foundations of our Constitution and the rights and freedoms that it guarantees. I'm Jimmy Sangenberger, president of the Liberty Day Institute, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to educating youth about the U.S. Constitution and Declaration of Independence, particularly fifth graders. We're looking for your help right now to develop new resources and programs to effectively introduce kids across Colorado and the country to this important document to help keep the Republic. To get involved and to donate, go to libertyday.org. That's libertyday.org, because keeping the Republic is so crucial to this country.
This is Betty White. I know you don't need one more thing to worry about, but listen, high blood pressure can cause kidney damage, blindness, heart attack, stroke, and you can have high blood pressure even if you feel all right. 1 in 7 adults has it, but it's easy to get your blood pressure checked, and you can treat it if it is too high. So don't worry about it. Don't ignore it. Just see your doctor and check it out.
For your free booklet, visit the Will Rogers Institute at wrinstitute.org and find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Hey, there's my son.
Hey, Dad.
What's wrong with your voice?
There is nothing wrong with my voice.
Well, it's just sort of.
Hello, Dad.
Susan? Guys, I think it's about time to get in the car and maybe see some green things.
What are these green things you speak of?
This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening again to Family Business with Daphne. That's right. Family Business with Daphne. I'm Daphne Mallory, and I get to do lots of fun things in life. I get to talk to other entrepreneurs and family business owners and people with just fun and inspiring stories. I write for Entrepreneur Magazine, the Huffington Post. I write in my local paper here, Times News Valley, where I get to talk about senior living issues, and I love that column. That's probably my favorite column, because I really have a passion for honoring senior adults. And boy, do I learn a lot. I mean, talk about wisdom. You should make it your point to talk to a senior adult once a week. It will change your life. It will change your life. That's not to say that they're all perfect, but you will learn something. You will learn something to implement. In my country, in Liberia, the elders are honored. They are the rulers. They're the leaders. And yeah, there are some issues with that system, but the idea is that they have lived life. They've built a community, and you will do yourself a disservice if you try to ignore them or, cast them off and try to treat them as if they're useless. That's just crazy. So if you're in a community where you're seeing that happening, change it. I was the one in my community here in Twin Falls, Idaho. I proposed the first ever senior advisory commission, went through the process of proposing it and getting it passed, and afterwards facilitating meetings. And basically, I wanted the commission to consist of older adults who would give advice to our city council. So where you are, it might be your mayor, to your chief, to your whatever form of local government. Have the seniors give input about the community overall, as well as their peers. And where I am, we have a growing senior adult community. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you listen to the show, you know that the end goal of family business is to develop your community, that you are wildly successful in business. And I want you to be wildly successful in business so that you have the financial and other means to give back and improve the lives of others around you. So before we went to break, and again, you are listening to 103.9 FM KDKI, we started talking about the H word, which in some circles apparently is the curse word or something. You say homeschooling and people shrink back. I'm like, wow, I love homeschooling. And for me, first and foremost, my priority was to develop a well-rounded adult, all 4 of them, because I've got 4 kids. Oh, my goodness. Well-rounded adults who were entrepreneurs, who would succeed in any venture they wished. If they came home and said, we want a 9 to 10 corporate job, Mom, I would make them listen to every single show I've done so far. But I would say, fine, go and spread your wings and fly. Do your thing. I would never force them to do family business. But if they chose to do family business, of course, I want them to be prepared. So, of course, I homeschooled. And it has been a great way to prepare our family for family business. I mean, my daughter is often listening in on my phone calls because I'm trying to teach her how to interview, how to negotiate, how to make a sales call. She's my assistant. For some of you who've contacted me, you have dealt with my daughter. She is my assistant. Even the little ones, I've got a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 4-year-old. I have them do fun little tasks that they can do, at that age, whether it's around organization. And my daughter, my 4-year-old, Grace, has had her legal pad and pen, and she's asked about the next production meeting, just instilling that spirit. And to do that, they have to be around you. It's very hard to have them go away from you for 6-8 hours and come back and still absorb the culture of family business. I find that on a daily basis, that when they're up with me in the wee hours of the morning, and they were up at 4:30 this morning with me, they woke up a bit early, as they're seeing Mom engage in its activities and make the calls and typing at the computer and researching or whatever, they know something's going on. They may not be able to fully articulate what's going on, but they're like, okay, this is family business. And everyone I've interviewed, every person I've interviewed who is a successful family business owner has shared a story about, when we were growing up with Mom and Dad in a family business, we swept, or we, waited tables, or we were just always around the family business, and that caught on. And it's hard to catch it on if they're not with you during the day when you're mainly doing family business. So homeschool is certainly one thing for you to look at. So, and for those of you who are like, well, I, here's the number one objection I always get. Oh my goodness, I don't have any patience. We would not get along. I mean, is that not the same objection you hear about starting a family business? We can't go into business together without killing one another. It's the same objection. Yes, you have the patience. If you have the patience to grow a business, you have the patience to homeschool. Of course you can. And there are so many ways to homeschool now. You don't even have to be the teacher. You can just be the principal. There are online classrooms, computer lessons, video lessons that are both free and paid, on and on and on. Tutors you can hire, on and on and on. Homeschool co-ops. So, of course, you can do it. You just take the same entrepreneurial drive and spirit that you're applying to business and apply it to homeschooling if that truly is the choice you wish to make. So that's a great way to prepare for owning a family business. And if you have questions, because I love homeschool families, contact me. Make sure you go to daphnemallory.org, DAPHNEMALLORY.org. While you're there, join my mailing list. But yeah, send me an email if you ever have any questions about what curriculums I used or how I was able to fit all of this activity into one day. I would be happy to share that with you. Another way to prepare your family at home is to deal with your family health. Now, look, this is so important. We need you to stick around so that you can run the family business. So you kind of have to get healthy. And I know this. I struggle with this. I understand this. So I was able a few years back to win not one, but two weight loss challenges. Hey, you know your girl. I'm an entrepreneur. We're competitive. You can't just win one. You got to win two. So I won 2 weight loss competitions. I took first place in one, second place in the other, and basically lost 44. That's 4% of my body weight. Yeah, it was that bad or that good, I guess. and won a cash prize and actually used that, of course. Can you guess what I did with the cash prize? Come on now. It went right into my marketing plan for my business. I was like, hello, here's another competition I could win and fund my business, of course. But I tell you, losing that weight was so instrumental to growing my family business. I had more energy. I had more drive, not just for the business, for the other things that go along with it, like being a mom. I had a new kind of swag going on, right? Because all of that 44% fat was gone. And so I had a new swag when I would walk into a room or go deliver a speaking engagement or something, right? I had more confidence, and I wasn't hiding out in my home because I was embarrassed about my weight. I had a new air of confidence. And so family health, beginning with weight, is very important to your confidence. Now, I was very bold and very forward before I lost that weight. But I had an inner peace and confidence, which is quite different. That confidence was radiating from the inside out this time. It wasn't just a shell or, just that's how you have to be in business sort of thing. No, it really came from the inside. And, talking about my earlier spiel about presence and power, I got my power back because I had that confidence and peace again. So, family health, starting with weight, starting with exercise. Now, I did a lot of Zumba with my children. Make it a family affair, whether it's Zumba or karate or whatever it is you wish to do, American Ninja Warrior, whatever. I could certainly use, if you're like, okay, what is huge? American Ninja Warrior, you can check it out on YouTube. And they've got this wall that you have to run up. If I could, that is my new goal, I think. If I could find a wall like that and actually make it up the wall, that is my new challenge to myself. I'm actually even thinking about triathlons at this point in life. And think about your family business too. For some of you who are already there, you've already started, you're in super growth phase, consider offering health classes in your family business as a corporation. Offer it to your other family business members or your other non-family employees. Offer health classes. Get everyone on board the health thing. It is so key, and it prepares you to seize opportunity. Unfortunately, people do judge on appearances still to this day. You go into a room, and I know it. You just walk into a room and you're ready to make a deal, and they're not even really focused so much on the deal itself or the contract. They're focused on you. You are always selling you as the entrepreneur. I don't care what industry you're in. If people will like you, they will want to get to know you. They will gain trust in you, and you can pretty much pitch any deal and you're in. If they've got the means, you've got the deal. That's how life works. And unfortunately, at least in the U.S., weight plays a big role. Now, where I'm from in Liberia, that would be a different ball game. It'd be like to my advantage to not be so skinny, although I wouldn't really classify myself as skinny at all. But depending on your culture, your country, your whatever, people have different, standards, if you will. But what is consistent is disease and illnesses related to weight. I don't care what country you're in. So if you want to remain healthy, period, it's not about aesthetics and how you look. If you want to remain healthy so that you can have the stamina and the energy and the willpower and all of these things to build up a mega family business that you can transfer for generations to come, you got to get healthy. So one of the quote unquote movements or philosophies, something that our family implemented along this line of family health, was going organic. That was key to my weight loss. And you're thinking, some of you, okay, that's spendy. Can't afford that, Daphne. Not now. That's what I thought. When I first thought about organic foods, I thought, oh, wow, the selection is limited in terms of what I can buy, and it's going to be spendy. And I was really concerned about that because when you're building a business, I get it. Every penny counts. Totally get that. But I found actually that it was more economic to have organic foods than it was not. That the meals that I was able to prepare going organic were a lot richer, in some cases more filling, certainly more nutritious. And I'm not talking about, the argument of, well, in the long run, because you won't get, these diseases because you've eaten organic, you've saved on health costs. I'm not even going there, although that's true in many cases. I'm just talking about I'm going to the grocery stores and I'm weighing, buying organic versus non-organic. It actually helped my budget to go organic. I was able to streamline proper foods and maintain the same budget. And I'm very budget conscious, by the way, as a mom of 4, maintain the same budget before I was organic. And I encourage you to do it. Just do a test, 30 days. Buy organic foods. See how you feel. See if you're able to work that thing on the same budget. See what you can buy. See what you can put together. And give it a try. You'll feel healthier. You'll feel more energetic. And that's the key. That's the tie-in to family business and growing a business. Because you need energy. It's not just all about money, folks, when it comes to building a business. Talk to any successful entrepreneur, and they will tell you it's not just about money. It's about energy. Whether it's people zapping your energies or bad food, you could lose energy quick and not have what you need to sustain those long hours or to sustain those battles of dealing with shady people or dealing with deals that take months and months and months to come together, or dealing with the mental work of wading through loads and loads of research and other information. And so you can help your mind. You can promote not just well-being, but better thinking, not the overthinking I was talking about earlier, but thinking when it's good, when it's necessary, when you have to analyze by eating well. So consider preparing your family life by going organic. That's something else that you can think about as well. So these are just some of the best practices that are so key. And I hope it doesn't come across as fluff, because it really isn't. It's what sets families apart from one another. Do you still do a family meeting? Have you ever done a family meeting? That's another best practice. Have you had like a goals meeting in your family where you sat down and said, these are the goals for our family for the next 5, 10, 20 years? Have you done that? That's another best practice often done for those who are successful and highly effective. Do you know your goals? Could your children, I'm sure you do, but if I met your children, if I met your sibling, your cousin, whoever you're in business with, if I spoke to them and asked what the goals were, will they be in line with what you said? Try this experiment. Record it. Get your phone, find an app, or there's probably already one on your phone, and record your goals. Goal number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everyone do it separately, in separate rooms at different times, and just have a meeting and listen to each recording. And just sit back and listen, no judgment, no editing. And then at the end of them, have a conversation. See where you were wildly off, how opposite you were in your thinking. You would be amazed. A best practice is simply to have a regularly scheduled meeting. Just meet once a week. If you go to my blog, daphnemallory.blogspot.com, facebook.com and do a search for Family Meeting Agenda. I posted for you a template that basically shows you how to set up an agenda for this meeting, the sort of meeting I'm talking about, so that it runs smoothly and that it's professional, something that you would find in a work environment per se, but a little deeper because you're dealing with family. It's so important. Don't take it for granted. There's no excuse, or you don't have permission to be lackadaisical in business because you're doing it with your family. In fact, you have to be so top-notch, so non-lackadaisical because of this giant of a dream that you're building. It's not even funny. You sure, you can be relaxed, sure, you can be comfortable, sure, it's all family, but that needs to be integrated in structures and systems and just tightness all around so that you have the freedom and flexibility to enjoy your family. But there's structure, no doubt. You can't pass on something that doesn't have structure. Do you understand? You cannot transfer to the next generation something that is lax. It will not last. And you can start by having a family meeting. Family meetings are powerful, and I encourage you to do that. Now, for those of you, we're in back to school season right now, or if you're like me, you're kind of in school season because you're homeschooling. But for those of you who are, sending children, whether it's off to college or off to school, I want to talk about another way to prepare them. Okay, so they don't get lost in school activities and don't have that opportunity to grow that entrepreneurial spirit that I talked about earlier. There's a way to prepare them for that transition as well. So first and foremost, do your kids, this is going to sound really funny, but really, does everyone know how to spell the word entrepreneur? Does everyone know the definition? If tonight, try it tonight. Say, hey, what's the definition of an entrepreneur? And see what you get. Ask them. Ask them to write it out. Ask them to write out the word. Say, I want to see you write out the word entrepreneur and write out the definition. Let me see. See what they come up with. They should know how to do both. Of course, if they're at a certain age level where they're capable of doing that, obviously. Then I want you to think about, as a parent, okay, what is my leadership development track for them this school year? How can I create opportunities for my children so that they can grow that entrepreneurial spirit? Am I going to make them organize events as part of my family business or part of a fundraiser or at school or a part of some other organization? What projects am I going to create and assign to them so that they can get paid? I don't like the word jobs for my children. I tell them that they can get paid by doing projects. They are freelancers. If they're not doing something for the business, then they become freelancers and they have to land projects for pay. And if you talk to my 4-year-old, she would tell you, can I have a project? And that's code for can I get paid? So think about projects that you can arrange for them, whether through your family business or through a peer, so that they can get paid. So they kind of start associating, oh, I complete a project, I get paid. I complete a project, I get paid. Isn't that what business is? I complete a project, I get paid. On and on and on. So you start to instill that spirit in them, that leadership spirit in them. And then if you really want to get funky with it, have them enlist team members for this project. Give them something so big that they have to have help. And then have them as the contractor, subcontracted out. I mean, can you imagine those other kids going home going, well, Mom, I'm a subcontractor for Elisa at school. And then they start having that conversation, subcontractor. And before you know it, not only are you now instilling the entrepreneurial bug amongst your own children in your own home, now you're spreading it throughout the school. And I think that's great. You just do that over and over again. That's wonderful. So think about ways to think like you are an entrepreneur. Great. But you need to now transfer that thinking to your children, even to your siblings, adults. Someone comes to you, can I borrow money? Because, you're that entrepreneur in the family. So, of course, you're the money tree. Can I have money? Oh, yeah. I have this project that needs completed. You can definitely complete it for X amount of dollars. Feel free to do that. Oh, okay. Or, I have this that needs to be taken care of, or I need a courier service. Can you go deliver this and bring it back? And hey, you get paid. Yeah, that's how it works. You just begin to build that entrepreneurial spirit all around you. And you'd be amazed at that. So definitely think about in this whole back to school time that at least in the U.S. that we're all a part of. Think about how, and that means you have to be strategic and creative. So here, we're just back to homeschooling again. Either you're directly homeschooling or not. Either way, you're in charge of leading your children in this area of entrepreneurship. So you still have to sit there and come up with projects. So there for your children, and learning projects so that they can learn how to do business, and so that they can learn how to team build with their peers and with others, and gain emotional intelligence. It's all the same thing anyway. And you could be a part of making that difference in your child's life. It's amazing. Entrepreneurship really is a weighted responsibility. And that's why a lot of people don't like to jump in. But I'm so proud of you. You've made a choice. You've decided, I'm going to do this thing. We are going to do family business. It sounds tough. It is hard. And it's just doubly hard because of family. But we are going to get this done because it's not about us. Although we will enjoy the fruits of our labor in this lifetime, yes. But it's not about us. It's about the next generation to come. Not just within our own family, but hopefully we can leave behind a stronger community. And that's what this is all about, right? So you're listening to Family Business with Daphne, and I really wanted to spend this time with you, get you thinking about best practices. But you know how I am. Don't just think about it. I actually want you to do it. Decide what you're going to do and get her done. And you can stay tuned every week right here on 103.9 FM KDKI. We'll continue to explore this topic of family business, continue to bring to you stories and interviews. And you keep on keeping on. Contact me at daphnemallory.org. Like my Facebook page, Daphne Mallory ESQ. And let's build a family business together.